going to have a recap about our regional event, Synergy. We're going to talk about the DCOM. There is a rough itinerary, which is probably on some of the tables. If not, I'll make sure that everybody gets a copy. But I'm Taya Coleman. I'm one of the regional contacts here in Las Vegas. I am also joined by my other two regional contacts. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Makai. Nice to see you guys.
JD. I think we all know most of each other.
Yeah.
It's always good. You never know who does not know who we are. So I wanted to make sure that we get started with a couple of things that we normally like to do at the beginning of a town hall. Not everybody is familiar with how Burning Man, what Burning Man is, how Burning Man works, what it's all about. Of course, we know that thing in the desert, Burning Man. I'm sorry?
I think everybody in this room is pretty familiar.
I do understand. So I'll talk like the audience knows. Okay, very good. Well, thanks again for showing up. As you can see, we all generally like to follow the 10 principles. I've made a copy of this, and it's as well sitting on some of the tables. This year's theme is iRobot at the Burning Man Festival for 2018. I did make a copy of some of Larry Harvey's thoughts concerning why this theme was chosen, and I do have a copy of it here if anybody would like to take a read of it. But for those of you who are not too familiar with iRobot it's actually with a short story by Isaac Asimov, and it also inspired what people call the 3 laws of robotics. And one of the laws of robotics is a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. Law of robotics 2 is a robot must obey orders given by human beings except when such orders conflict with the first law. And the 3rd law of robotics is a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. So this is not the Will Smith iRobot.
Yeah. Terminator.
I believe that the theme that what they decided to go with was based on the actual short story iRobot. So there is a description on the website, the Burning Man website, and then as I said, there's also copies here for you. All right, I'm going to let my co-regional, Makai, come up. Oh wait, actually, did we want to talk about regional status first?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that. All right. Yeah, well, that's on our itinerary. So we're going to talk about last year's 2017 regional event, Synergy. And if I could please ask Biggie and JD to come up and maybe give a word about how the event went.
All that's posted online. I didn't plan on doing any of that today. Nobody told me that that was something that was happening.
We weren't really going to do a recap. That's so much as where we're at going forward.
Sure, not a problem.
I brought something. Regional went fine last year. One of the big things I've always hated about the regional in the last 5 or 6 years is just the location. And it was in my humble opinion that the location kind of let in too many people that weren't involved in the event, didn't really have their heart in it. They could come in and come out. Towards the end, we were having upwards of 80 people sneak in a night, and so it just really took away from the event. You could tell as we progressed in that spot. So my main thing when I got involved was to move it, so we moved it to Beatty. I thought everything worked well, except for the historic heat wave. We were received well by the people of Beatty. After I confirmed that we were going to do the event there, the head of the Chamber of Commerce called me up personally and offered everything the Chamber of Commerce had, any resources they had to help us put the event there. The owner of the event wasn't present during the event, but he was very happy with everything that came and everything we did. If you read the newspaper article, the main ranch hand that was there, one of his good comments was that we were better behaved than the Boy Scouts. Boy Scouts do their jamboree there with like about 2,000 people, and apparently we were more behaved than them. I met with Dave, Tony went with me, and we got the green light to go ahead and go this year. We moved it up a week to try to prevent the heat catastrophe of last year and maybe even avoid the June bugs because it's early in the season. They only come out for like 5 days, so we just happened to hit the apex of the June bug. Other than that, there wasn't too many hiccups. We really didn't have any problems out there. For the first time in a long time, there was no official law enforcement encounters or encounters with local jurisdiction. We coordinated with their fire department, pre-burn, after-burn, so they knew what we were doing when we were doing it. We had no incidents there. Most things ran smooth. The probably major only hiccup we had was in the scanning devices I provided. This year we're gonna actually buy a separate phone so we don't run into that incident. We were like borrowing phones and nobody wanted to cough up their phone. That's about it for that. I can give you a brief summary of the finances. I studied for about 30 seconds. I wrote these about 5 months ago, so bear with me. In a nutshell, we had $47,188.60 in ticket sales. We incurred $2,777 in strike fees. So we had a net sales of $44,411. We had $2,500 left over from the previous regionals, which eventually will be paid back to the LLC. So our grand starting total was $46,911. We spent $15,251 on pyro and art installations. We spent $12,414 on equipment, which included like all the local services, the land rental, the portos, the medical, the insurance, and anything else that you saw that was rented or bought. And then there was another $8,000 on fuel. We spent almost $1,000 on making things go boom, and generators. Supplies for the event, staff supplies, paid staff, which was the only paid staff position was the security, and that came out to $1,250. Swag, office, and ice all came out to $8,038, which left us $11,206, which since I've wrote this, we made our donation to the Beatty Volunteer Fire Department for $850. So, math off the top of my head. Somebody do that for me, come on. So roughly that left us with $10,300, and we still have a payment of $4,800 to the state for the lead tax and to pay this year's taxes. So right now we have about $5,600 before taxes. And ticket sales start this Saturday, so we'll be solvent.
Yeah, so that's the big announcement about the status for this year. Is tickets are going on sale next week.
Yep.
What's the date? What's the date of Synergy? What's the date of ticket sales when they go on sale?
The date for Synergy is the 14th through the 17th of June 2018. Ticket sales start on Saturday, February the 17th at noon Pacific Coast time.
There you go. Share that on all your feeds, man, because it's a amount. We had planned on capping the ticket sales at 500 last year. We sold 490 something tickets, and there was another 50 in comps for staff and local baby people and ranch hands and their girlfriends and pyro crews and stuff like that. This year we're going to cap ticket sales at 700, so I expect to sell out since everything else
has sold out and sold out within 3 to 4 days of their ticket sales.
What's your tickets this year?
500. Everything's sold out, supply and demand. The first round is 100, and then the final round will be 125, and then we're going to do the $150 art donation tickets as well. Last year, because of those tickets, we had an additional $500 for art, so that's cool. We're definitely going to have more art this year. There's definitely going to be more fire. Go figure. Everything opens on Saturday. Ticket sales will open, the website will open, team camp registration,
Volunteer registration.
itch and complain, and all that opens Saturday.
When?
But
Yeah,
really,
you'll
it's
have,
never
you'll have
closed.
fun out there.
I had surgery.
You still look like a guy to me that didn't do too good.
Still in it.
Thanks, E, for doing that on the spot. That was really good.
Yeah, thank you.
And I obviously couldn't have did it without the help of everybody. I had a kick-ass volunteer crew, I had a kick-ass DPW crew. Like I said, we didn't run into any hiccups, and it was just because everybody was kick-ass. The medical crew was kick-ass. Dr. Chris came out and rescued all the people on set. On Sundays, everybody dropped. And it was mostly people that I wouldn't have expected to drop.
But it was an historic heat wave, so.
Yeah, it was a
Well,
big, it was.
may I suggest what I did? I went to bed every morning about 10, 11 a.m., shit-faced drunk, and I woke up every night at like 7 p.m., and I thought the weather was fantastic.
Yep.
And I had air conditioning.
Yeah. Yep.
I really like the diversity of the location. And I like the fact that it was lots of different spaces and places where people could create.
Well, that's another thing too. We're gonna leave stuff there this year. Like I'm working with Orion to put one of his pieces out there like year round. We're gonna grant him some money. And probably this year, unless any big bill or something surfaces up, we're gonna do a grant for somebody to make a piece of steel art that'll sit in downtown Beatty on the main street. So like I've already got the okay for all this stuff. I've already talked to the people that need to be, we just need to set it in concrete, as well as, I don't know how many of you noticed last year, I really picked up on it, but he's really doing a big part to save some endangered frogs. And I worked on building the Springs Preserve, and the company I worked for, they do a whole bunch of theme park stuff and theming. So another thing I wanted to provide for him and leave out there this year is I wanted to put up one of those permanent kind of poster things that you see in like a museum or a theme park or something, where you look down, it'll have the frogs on there and give a brief description of them, tell about them, and we'll leave it there. It'll be concreted in. I think it's my goal to improve his property as we go out there each time. That's it.
That's great. Next, we can have a discussion about the decom.
So we're doing the timeline too after
Yeah, but that's what we have on the list here. Do you want to talk about the decom
Yeah.
now or talk about?
that? Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. So, am I sitting, standing?
Whatever you choose.
So, the DCOM group met and a few weeks back, and JD and myself, Alyssa, and Sante, and a few others that decided not to show, right? But you were working your way there. It's just like 20 minutes later, damn, I missed you guys. We ate a quick burger, sorry. So DCOM date has been moved, been set. It will be October, the first weekend of October. I believe it's the 4th through the 6th. So what that means is, I believe it's the 5th is a Saturday. It'll go from 1 p.m. until 1 a.m. Or 1 p.m. until 1 p.m. on the following day, which I believe is the 6th. It will be at a private property, Chris Wright's warehouse property. Do an agreement with Chris Wright to donate the space. It will be we've kind of working with Sante, coming up with a couple of ideas on how it's all going to be laid out. So any volunteers or any camps that want to set up small pockets, it's going to be kind of like a street festival, but yet like apply a burn, right? Because we're going to have around the surrounding perimeter all the camps with very sound that's very moderated for their space, and then have if possible have a small little mini burn in the center, so that way we have a small little playa. So those things are all getting put together and happening. Any questions?
So just to repeat, it's going to be Friday the 5th until...
Is that Friday? If Friday is
Saturday.
what's
It's gonna be
the...
a Saturday at 1 p.m. until
Yes.
the Sunday. And it's
Exactly.
Wednesday at 1
6 to 7.
Yeah, it's the 6th to 7th then, yes. So the first weekend of October, because that's pretty much the deadest weekend for October, so, or at least for event, so we figured we'd capitalize on that now and kind of start putting all those things in motion. So really looking to, bring everybody together, hopefully be able to, use our regional that we have as well to really help foster a great decompression as well. So I think some good synergy on that combination will really help move us in a good direction. Huh?
He said so.
I did say. Yeah. Any other questions?
What's the address for Chris Wright's place?
Don't know the physical address, but it will all be taken care of. So we'll get that information posted in.
Rainbow and Blue Diamond.
We're going to have
Yeah.
additional meetings.
Yeah. So additional, staff meetings will be coming up, so that way everybody can. Decompression meetings will be coming up, so everybody can kind of get together, get in the know, and get their gig. So we'll need medical force.
Yes.
Rangers, right? So
I guess I should add myself back in that group, or someone needs to add me.
there you go.
You got it. You got it.
So while I'm up here, should I talk about this stuff? Yeah. So guys, on your table we've got a couple printed out documents here that show the ticket timeline. Right, so you just pass it around, take a picture of it with your phone. Just trying to get proactive with everybody, so that way we all kind of know what's going on. Right, you have your direct ticket sale for those of you that are going to be doing theme camps. You need to register for your theme camps coming up here February 13th through the 23rd. Make sure you've got your theme camp in there, submitted and registered, so that way you should get an email link for your direct group sales if you've already done this and you were approved from last year and you're in good standing if you've done a theme camp here. So know that. Low income ticket also application period opens up on Valentine's Day. It's all about the love, right? So it opens up on the 14th through the 16th. So if you're looking for a low income ticket, low income status ticket, their information, go to the burningman.org and then apply for low income status. That's on the 14th. You have the main sale coming up on March 23rd, or March 28th, the March 21st to the 23rd registration. So go to your burner profiles, create your burner profiles if you haven't done so already, and make sure your burner profile is updated. So that way you have that information in there, and then you can get your regular sale. And good luck with that, by the way. There's limited ticket sales at $1,200 until April 4th. And then there's the step sale, which opens to sellers on April 11th and opens to buyers on the 24th. So it's kind of a changing of a ticket. So some people say, I have an extra ticket, I'm going to use step. I'm going to go back to the org. We're going to resell this ticket to someone else, and that's all done through STEP. So a couple of different options, right? As you all know, and as Big E mentioned earlier, a lot of these events are selling out quickly. They sell out in a few days. So be proactive. Get online, create your profile, do the work, do the thing, volunteer, help people out. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Rob.
And this timeline infographic is also pinned to a post at the top of the Burning Man group on Facebook. So you want to see it there.
Any questions? No?
Any questions, you can also refer to not only the beautifully printed out graphic, but also something directly taken from the Burning Man website that I copied out as well. That's on paper. Looks like this. Okay. Next, let's see. Crystal, would you like to talk about
Sure.
upcoming Ranger training?
Most of the people in here are either already on my Ranger list or will be. But
Tony wants to be a ranger.
Camera guy.
yeah, I'll send the sign up sheet around.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. It's not that official. Okay, I just wanted to talk about Rangers a little bit. We have formed a Southern Nevada Regional Rangers group. We have a Facebook page and a chat, so if anybody is interested, please let me know. We will be holding training if you would like to ranger. So if you want to be a regional ranger or if you want to become a Black Rock Ranger, you need to go through the regional training first. And it's really cool this time because Luscious, she was the khaki this year at Synergy. She and I are co-leads this year, and she has been a trainer for the last, I believe, 3 years. So she's trying to get our training here in Las Vegas to actually be a Black Rock training. So it won't just count for the regional. You can actually go on and do your shifts and try to become a Black Rock Ranger. So I'll be updating all of those sites, and if anybody has any questions or here's anybody that wants to be a ranger, just send them my way, please.
And I'm just going to ask a question because it's very impressive how you went from this, hey, I want to possibly volunteer and do this position, to creating what you've done.
Oh.
So there's a lot to be said for that. I mean, a lot of folks say, oh, I want to be a ranger, and they never follow through. But not only did you follow through, you've also created a way for others to volunteer here locally to be rangers as well.
I think that's really
So-
important, and I know that there's a few people that really are interested in not only being regional rangers, but possibly Black Rock, and I think it's important to have that in our community, so thank you. Appreciate
You
that.
bet. I think if I can just piggyback on that really quickly, I think it's very important in this day and age in our community that we all be aware of the aspect of the self-policing. That's one reason that the Rangers came in, to be kind of a go-between between law enforcement and our community. And as time has gone on, of course, there's all kinds of issues that have started to develop just because we're a growing community. A lot that deal with acculturation, people believing that the burners are one thing or they should act one way and they act another. So the more people who are either aware of those unique skills that Rangers have as far as negotiating and working out weirdness, the more people in our community who have those skills, the more that we can kind of intervene when things feel like they might go south. So I know we're dealing a lot anymore with issues of consent that have sometimes reared their head, people not feeling comfortable about their involvement within the community. So the more that we're educated on how to negotiate and be that friendly person, I think the stronger our community will become over time.
Do we have to be friendly?
Absolutely not you. Snark first, right? Okay, did anyone want to discuss possible upcoming art projects or cultural developments that are happening in the community that they'd like to bring to the forefront?
I'd like to do something.
I don't know. Hundreds of millions of dollars to bring your flying experience to strip tours. Here we are. That's the future.
It's going to be near the Palace Station, but that area near the Palace Station, my understanding is where they're going to start to build that Meow Wolf
Area 15.
15?
Area 15.
Right, okay.
That's the other weird part.
Were you going to say something, E?
Anybody's got a super large art can of $5 to $10 grand, I'll build some big fire art. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a good idea. Well,
There is an event coming up, a camping event coming up at the end of the month. I believe it's February 24th, Saturday. It's Burstock. I don't think the official location has been announced yet, but it'll be within an hour of Vegas. The Facebook event usually has updates. DNA, you'll have to get someone to keep you informed.
You were bound determined all these years, JD, to get me to make a Facebook page.
I'm trying. I get a
I
kickback.
just have to do that.
But the emphasis is on soups, like the soup stocks of the past. Make a great soup, bring it out, bring your crock pot. I don't know how many generators they'll have, so if you can bring your own power, I'm sure that's appreciated. But that will be at the end of the month for anybody who wants to do a camping event. They call it Burstock because it's usually really cold when we do these kind of events, and I don't know if it's going to be that cold this year.
Right.
I might show. Any other events? We still do Burning Mondays every Monday.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So Burning Mondays, right? We do those. Yeah. We're talking about doing a theme camp gathering. We'd like to kind of see when, maybe you guys would like to gather and meet theme camps or participate if you're not already with a theme camp in someone's theme camp. We're thinking late March, early April. The reason is obviously you've got a regional coming up in June, so we'd like to see, theme camp development and putting people A plus B equals C. So, maybe we can get a couple good theme camps, and maybe some great ideas will be born and new theme camps will be created to take to the regional. So, by show of hands, who'd like to see it in early March? I'm sorry, late March.
Never mind.
Late March. Early April? Sounds like late March will be the first one. Maybe we'll do a second one in just early April.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, Sunday Easter is March 30th. April 1st.
Yeah.
Good to know. So maybe it would be the third weekend of March. I don't know. So we'll see. The third Monday.
The event will be on a Monday.
Yeah.
Mondays.
Yeah. So another Monday, Burning Monday, gather, So start talking about it. Spread the word.
Anybody with theme camps who are looking for members, let them know that they can come down and try and recruit them.
Absolutely. And we can also take people who are running departments for volunteers at the same time. So be a good volunteer. You want to volunteer, you want to get involved, come to this gathering for community.
We'll post about that. I'll make sure that goes out on the email list as well as the Facebook.
We have an email.
There's an email list. You can sign up for the official Burning Man org run email list through the regionals page at the Burning Man website. If you're on the Facebook group, you'll get all the information either way. But there is an official email list that the org runs that you can sign up for through the Burning Man Regional Network page.
Right now, there's about 300 people on it. So some people might have signed up and don't even
Versus
know.
4,000 on the Facebook page.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyone else? Great input? No? One other thing I wanted to mention is I don't think sometimes we realize how much we're part of a much, much larger network community, and how very often Vegas is looked at as a place of interest and innovation. I went down to New Orleans and had an opportunity to meet burners from the New Orleans community, and a few of them were interested in a statue that we had here, Bliss Dance. And I want everyone to know how lucky we are to have certain pieces of Burning Man art here in our community. There are other places that would just die to have Bliss Dance in their backyard. But we have Bliss Dance, we've got Big Rig Jig, of course we've got the Praying Mantis, but I mean, we're very, very lucky in that respect that we do have those pieces of art here. And then we've created our own great pieces of art that have gone to the playa. So please keep in mind when you think about creating something, don't think that it just goes unnoticed. There are other communities out there who are inspired by what we create here and what we do. And because it inspires them to, hey, if they could do it, we can do it too. Because we're not a super huge community. We're relatively compact. And if we can pull off, a great regional event, have great artwork here coming to our town, we should feel inspired to know that others look at us as somewhat of a bright point. I just wanted to make sure I pass it along to you. That's what I received from visiting another, I guess you could say, region and hearing what they had to say about Las Vegas.
Okay. Anything else? It's kind of an open floor. If anybody wants to talk about any projects they're working on or want to work on, make your ideas known. Start manifesting. Yeah.
What are the thoughts? Sorry.
Yeah.
Last year, while a bunch of us were at GLC, it was Gabe who led it up, was doing the Burger Family Picnic at the park. What's everybody's thoughts on doing a Burger Family Picnic in April? Something family friendly. We get a pavilion out at, Lorenzi or someplace and, throw some hot dogs and stuff on the grill, and Kimberly can bring hoops and, have some, it's, the family friendly aspect is one of those that I wrestled with because, when I first came into the community, it was like, I don't want fucking kids around me, fuck that. And now I have kids, so it's like, and I don't want them around me sometimes, so.
There's always been kids at all the regionals.
Yeah, there's always been kids at regionals, and that's, we've always opened that up, but, it's like we had the spaghetti dinner over at Bam's house, and I understand all that, and I wasn't gonna bring my kids to Bam's house anyway, because my kids are my kids, they're perverts, so, but, doing the family-friendly, open park thing where we can all hang out.
It's family. By the time you get to the park, it makes it family friendly already.
Yeah.
You can't get naked in the park.
You can, trust me, but they'll arrest you.
Go to jail.
You can't legally unless it's a federal park.
Yeah.
So I would say that I think that if you say that on X date at X place you're going to be there doing a thing and burgers are welcome, they're going to show up. I think if they're kids or not, they'll show up.
I would say check with Gabe since he actually did do it last year.
Yeah, that's.
He's planning on doing it again.
Apparently he's drilling holes in his wall and that the jokes just write themselves. So.
He did say he wanted to do that again. He did say he wanted to do that again. So, and it was great.
Good follow point to follow up there and find a date.
I'll say that before Gabe did that, people were doing them randomly throughout the year.
Oh yeah, that's
anytime
we've always
you feel like getting together. You don't need anybody's input really, but if he has some thoughts, obviously that's helpful. Nobody needs anybody's permission to do events.
I got enough stuff on my plate right now, so.
It would be nice to see that continue though, since it did appear to be pretty successful and a lot of people had a great time.
When was it last year?
While we were at GLC.
He planned it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the important people are in town.
Now, of course, there was no Global Leadership Summit this year. If some folks don't know what that is, Global Leadership Summit, or GLC, is a gathering where regional contacts, community leaders, some event producers come to San Francisco and basically exchange ideas, network, learn better ways to do what they're doing, get support, and find out what the org has to offer in the way of new ideas and help and support. One of the best things about going to the GLC is very often just communicating with your fellow Burning Man leadership community leaders, and also people who put on events. You learn a lot from each other. You also learn where you fall into the mix when it comes to, well, how far are we behind this community, or are we ahead of this community? What you find is we all have a lot of the same struggles. Like just talking about having children come to an event. We're not the only ones who deal with that kind of push and pull. Some events have decided not to be official events because they may not necessarily want to have children invited to their events. Others work very hard to try to find ways to include everyone because, of course, it's, radical inclusion. We don't have traditionally a lot of events where children can come. So I think really stoking the fires at the barbecue and or whatever would be a good thing. Anyone else? Okay. Are we good? Are we done?
Give him some.
I think it sounds like a great idea,
All right.
everybody. Give yourself a round of applause.
Thanks everybody for coming in.
You don't go eat it and don't off yourselves. Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Feel free to take the printed ticket information with you, also the iRobot.
There's usually a formal drama, you know, everyone's trying to tame
The best part.
Is it?